Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. California lost 156,300 jobs in the first 6 months of 2024, according to new federal quarterly payroll data, contradicting California Governor Gavin Newsom's claims about job growth in the state. Joining me with more on this story is the Center Square's California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth, what has Governor Newsom said about California's economy and jobs?
Newsom has consistently celebrated California's growing economy and jobs growth, but there are a lot of data points out there that suggest the economy is not doing as well as he says it is. We had that report from the California Legislative Analyst's Office that showed there was a net decrease of private sector jobs that was only offset by a net increase in government jobs. This report was from earlier this year. Now, we have data for the first 6 months of 2024, fully locked in, quarters 1 and 2 of this year. And this federal quarterly payroll data, which covers 95% of jobs in the country, shows that California has had a net loss of 156,300 jobs in those first 6 months. And this is coming at a time when California is facing a lot of budget pressures. It does seem, though, that high capital gains tax revenue from high valuations of some technology companies will keep the state's budget better than expected, actually, because the state mostly relies on capital gains from the uber wealthy to pay for things. But what this does is bring up the greater issue and question of why politicians continue to talk about these preliminary survey, limited sample survey based jobs numbers that for the last few years keep getting revised downward significantly.
Yeah, can you explain that difference there for a minute? What is the difference between the numbers that these politicians like Governor Newsom are citing and these numbers that we're getting now?
So first, I want to say this is not a partisan issue. The federal government just runs these surveys, and they are often overestimating by significant margins, but it is not a red state or blue state issue. But politicians do like to cite these preliminary job survey numbers. They give you a quick pulse on the economy, and these generally seem to be overturned by the later payroll jobs numbers. That is the ones that come in that most businesses have to report. So you get that real picture 4 times a year, but you have to wait for that, right? This new data that we're seeing now for June is just out now in December.
An economist from the American Institute for Economic Research weighed in on this question. What did he have to say?
Well, I asked him about what is this problem with the BLS's current employment statistics survey overstating jobs. He says it's a national problem, and that nationally, this survey overestimated jobs by 942,000 jobs in June of 2024. That's almost 1 million jobs that politicians likely reported on that really weren't there. Again, are they citing data that is real? Yes. Are the surveys slightly inaccurate? Yes. This economist, Jason Sorens from the American Institute for Economic Research, told us that on average since October 2023, the CES has overstated jobs nationally by 340,000 jobs each month. He also explained, though, that smaller states tend to be more prone to bigger misses because their economies are both more volatile and smaller, so the surveys are less likely to capture the accurate population.
So what does this data really suggest about California then?
So let's go back to what it said. It said from January through June of this year, the state of California lost 156,300 jobs. How does that compare to the year before? In that same time, using the same quarterly data, it says that California gained 50,800 jobs. And both of these number sets, but these numbers that I'm talking about, they're all supposed to be seasonally adjusted. So they're supposed to account for seasonal fluctuations in hiring. But, on top of that, there is a significant amount of fluctuation in seasonality, right? Winter months, a lot of service businesses don't have as many hires. Summer, very busy tourist system. Somewhere like California hires a lot of people. So typically there is a large swing of jobs between January and June. 2023, California gained 50,800 jobs in the same time frame. Again, that's a seasonally adjusted figure, but still, it should be some indication. The fact that we lost 156,300 jobs in that time is deeply troubling for the state of California and shows that hiring is not going as well as people are expecting.
Well, Kenneth, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.